The breast gives us milk of his word. The breast is the gland of a woman, which produces milk for her infant. And even our Lord partook of the milk of the breast. Luke 11:27. For the milk is the promise that is given to infants, and the bread is the word which is given to believers. And like newborn babies, long for the pure milk of the word, so that by it you may grow in respect to salvation, if you have tasted the kindness of the Lord. 1 Peter 2:2. And the Father of the nations gave milk to the angels. Genesis 18:7. And by this kind act, they promised he would father the nations. Genesis 18:10. And God promised that his people would inherit this milk. You shall inherit their land, and I will give it to you to possess, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, who has separated you from peoples. Leviticus 20:24. But his people would worship false idols. Thus God removed the milk from his people. When I have brought them to the land flowing with milk and honey, of which I swore to their fathers, and they have eaten and filled themselves and grown fat, then they will turn to other gods and serve them. And they will provoke me and break my covenant. Deuteronomy 31:20. And though they had curds from the milk of the flock, they drank from the blood of the grapes. But his children have trusted in the milk of his promise. You made me trust while on my mother's breast. I was cast upon you from birth. From my mother's womb you have been my God. Psalms 22:10. And the milk of his promise is the precept of his knowledge. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. Here a little, there a little. Isaiah 28:9. And the milk of his precepts are the principles of the oracles of God. And those who learn its precepts are weaned to solid food, which are the words of righteousness. For everyone who partakes only of milk is not accustomed to the word of righteousness, for he is an infant. But solid food is for the mature, who because of practice have their senses trained to discern good and evil. Hebrews 5:14. And the breast is the portion of the chest which protects the heart and the lungs. And the breastplate of righteousness protects our heart and breath of the Spirit. For the priest sanctified fat in the offering, but kept the breast as a just due from God. He shall bring the fat with the breast, that the breast may be presented as a wave offering before the Lord. The priest shall offer up the fat and the smoke on the altar, but the breast shall belong to Aaron and his sons. Leviticus 7:30. And now his priests wear the breastplate of righteousness. Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one. Ephesians 6:13. But this generation has been cruel and unjust, for they have withheld the milk of his promises, and have stolen the milk from the infants. For even the jackals present their breasts to nurse their young, but the daughter of my people is cruel, like ostriches in the wilderness. The tongue of the infant clings to the roof of its mouth for thirst. The young children ask for bread, but no one breaks it for them. Lamentations 4:3. But the son shall return with his breastplate of righteousness, and he shall slay their tongues with his sword. He put on righteousness like a breastplate, and a helmet of salvation on his head. And he put on garments of vengeance for clothing, and wrapped himself with zeal as a mantle. According to their deeds, so he will repay wrath to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies. To the coastlands he will make recompense. Isaiah 59:18. For indeed the days are coming in which they will say, Blessed are the barren, wombs that never bore, and breasts which never nursed. Then they will begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, Cover us. For if they do these things in the green wood, what will be done in the dry? Luke 23:28.